still realistic to buy in WA, or what does
Yes,
this realistic
100%.
means?
I think you have to not worry about the perfect home and start somewhere. So, Rome wasn't built in a day, and a lot of the times we'll be discouraged by our environment. So, I find this with buyers all the time. Their cousin or their family members bought something, or they know someone at work bought something for 500,000 2 years ago. They were going to buy it, but they went on a holiday. Something's happened where they've had a bad split up, that credit card debt. They're now ready, and everything's a lot more expensive than the last looked at, and that's the problem. You need to stop. You need to look at yourself, where you're going, not where you've been. What do I need to do to get in the market? If it's important to you to buy a house, then buy the house, buy the unit, get in the market. A lot of times we'll let our previous experiences affect our future decisions. And we can't do that. As buyers, my advice to you is look forward, look at getting in the market, get out of the market as quick as possible, because the cost of inaction is significantly higher than trying to calculate return on investment and trying to buy the perfect property. It doesn't exist.
Okay, so if I'm starting to scratch as a buyer, what are the first three concrete steps I need to take even before going to a home open?
I would say first you meet your broker, or you meet a good broker there. A good broker will set a plan for you on how to have your savings right, and will do an assessment of where your budget might sit. Once you have that, then you can reverse engineer that to locations and types of property that you're interested in. And the caveat is simple. If I can drive to work within 45 minutes and I can live in a house that I really like, then I have to weigh, is living in the right house versus taking a 45-minute drive one way to work more important to me? If it's not, then buy something that's less suitable for you but helps you in convenience. You can't have the convenience, the perfect flooring, the perfect, and that significantly will change your ability to buy something if you're trying to land the perfect deal. And my third advice is simple. Anything that's of value doesn't come for free. So pay for professional advice, pay for professional support. If it means getting a buyer's agent involved to help you with the transaction, do it. Do it, because it's the only way you're going to have you earning income Monday to Friday while someone's trying to solve this problem along the way, and will have access to a lot more opportunities than you will on the market. So these are the three things I would really look at doing. If I was a buyer starting today, I would be doing those three. I think one of the big things for West Australia is you can do a subject to finance contract. You're not in we're not a heavy auction market. If you're in an auction market in West Australia, you would have other complexities. Yeah, although you're competing in an auction transparent method, you're actually competing even harder to get in. So I think the conditions in which we write our contracts, we give the option of building and pest inspection. These are a perfect system to get you in the market. In other places, you would be competing against 100 people on a floor, trying to understand auction strategies, and when do I jump in with bidding here? How do I do that? We're not at that place yet. Although the way people are buying is evolving significantly with tech, it's still the best place to be buying. Questions to select the broker that you're going to use, to select the building inspector you're going to. That's the stuff you can really work on to select the right buyer's agent. If you're not sure what to do, then you've got AI, ChatGPT, and Claude, and you can say, "This is my scenario. This is what I'm trying to do. What are the 10 questions I should be asking my broker, the building inspector, and the buyer's agent?" And have that, as a way to do an assessment. So an assessment's important. Like, you need to be working with the best in the business. The only way to do that is to actually do some due diligence, find out.
Um, what are the common mistakes that you see the first home buyers making when they're coming to you or in the market?
Just spending too long trying to find the perfect home. I think in this market you don't have the luxury. So, if it ticks 6 out of 10 boxes, make a move. Yeah. Secondly, just being uneducated about the process. There's so much education there. Have a settlement agent in place, someone who's willing to do a quick review on a contract, uh, so that you can give them the business at time of purchasing. There's a lot of settlement agents do free contract reviews. I would highly, highly recommend that for first home buyers. You don't know what you don't know until you're in a situation. So understanding the conditions on the contract is very important. So yeah, if you need any help with selecting a settlement agent or a property lawyer, then again, this one of the questions would be: do you do free contract reviews, and what's your turnaround for the contract review? If it's any more than a day, then they're probably not a good fit for you because you might need to act quickly. The other question I would ask is, can you do the contract reviews over the weekend? Because you are looking at property on the weekend, you're writing offers. By the time Monday comes around, it might be too late. So these are some of the things that will help you speed your decision making and if you're not a decisive person and you over analyze everything, then have a framework in which you can work in and say, okay, it ticks these, it's 6 out of 10, I'm going ahead with it, and forget the rest. As long as it's not something systemic, like someone's died in it, or there's major structural defects that you're aware of. As long as it's not those big red flags, go for it.
While searching for a property or even a suburb, are there like any other tools except for just listing websites, real estate, domain? Are there other tools that people can use to search for houses or suburbs?
Generally, everything's on the real estate pages. If it's not on realestate.com, doesn't mean it's not for sale. It might be on domain in Riva. Realestate.com has a cost. And sometimes a nugget for your listeners there is, you might find a property on Riva and domain and other free websites that's not on realestate.com because the vendor or the agent and vendor or combined have decided not to invest in a realestate.com ad. So that's another thing I would look is I would filter between both and see what stock's there. You'll find there's a few other properties that are not. They potentially will get you a better pricing for buyers. So that's one thing I would do is look on those portals. We've started to see a lot of buyers buying from for sale by owners and things like that. So there's a lot of private sales, or sellers are going on these portals as well. And sometimes you can get lucky. I've had a client just purchased a property at a very good price. It was sold by an owner, had no idea what it was worth. But these aren't permanent solutions. They're one percenters, yeah, what I'm telling you here. Um, and again, like I sound like a broken record. Pay for some help, or at least get your family members. If you have a dad, an uncle, or a grandparent that's not as retired, put them on the job and say, "Look, I really need help. Yeah, you need resources," and let them or your parents help you in finding those properties. Be nice. Be nice to the agents. Befriend them. Try and get on their off-market list. If you don't get a property and it's frustrating, move on to the next one. Don't leave a mess from where you've left to go to the next one, because then you've alienated the agent. The agent's job is to get the best price, and even if it sits above 850, that's his job. They're paid by the seller, and they're not paid by you; they're paid by the seller. So just keep that in mind. Their legal right, their fiduciary right is to the seller to get as much money off the market as possible.
And this is what I was going to ask you is how do I find off market or pre market opportunities that have not even come to the market, even for high rise apartments, because that's the new trend these days.
Mm. Yeah, look, agents are a good resource. So saying, hey, I would love to get on your database. If you're too busy, I can talk to someone in the office. Can you add me on your database? Can you add us on your database? Can you add us on your SMS campaigns or get on that? Because you'll see more stock than you will online. So it'll help you navigate through understanding and doing market research because you're looking at a lot more. By looking, you'll be able to solve problems, but by just clicking on the refresh button on the website, it's not going to. It's only going to. It's only you're only going to see what everyone else is seeing. You want to see stuff people aren't seeing. So.
Is there anything about the WA market that people in Perth still underestimate or don't talk about enough?
Yes, I think it's the sheer demand that we've had in the last 5 years. One of the things that no one talks about is the consistent absorption of uh, sales or absorption rate, or should I say, volume of sales that have happened in the market since our first lockdown in 2020. As we've been averaging 800 to 900 transactions a week, week in, week out, since for the last 5 years. It's not stopped. Absolutely not stopped. So 5+ years now, almost 6 years, we will come up to where we're averaging, close to 900 sales a week. Last week was just under 800, but the stock was so low at 2,300 ish. That's still 1 in 3 properties sold. It's a 33% absorption rate. This is something that, if you look at it, annualize it, that's a lot of transactions. That's around 50,000 transactions a year in, year out for 6 years. That's how much demand is in this market. So keep that in mind. This is the highest we've seen that sort of demand for a long, lengthy period as well. It's really interesting to see. So Perth's matured a lot, like as a market. So that's something we need to wrap our heads around.
Okay, towards closing, for someone looking to buy this year, what's the first thing you want to tell them to do this week? Start today. This is the first thing you do.
Go see a mortgage broker that's good at what they do, that's willing to help you and put a plan together and execute that plan like your life depends on it.
And finally, where can people find you if you have more questions or help you or need your help?
So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Rash Dhanjal. My team's called Team Rash at the agency. And you can find us on all the websites. Just have a look and send us an email. We can help you with if you got any questions or need any help. Let us know.